All right, all right. Well, I'm out here today. I was actually going to go back here and do the yard. Everything's pretty overgrown, and I decided I was going to use an Old Faithful mower. It's an oldie that I really like. It's a lawnboy 2-stroke. And how long has it been since you used one of those, huh? But I went back, I dug it out of the pile. It's been sitting under one of these canopy tents forever. So it's pretty dusty and dirty, and I put gas in it and it just would not crank. It's like, that would have been great if it cranked just after a few tugs. But when I'm looking at this, it's like, well, you know, it's just simple troubleshooting, just like any other mower, right? The only difference is the 2-stroke versus a 4-stroke. With this one, I don't have to worry about engine oil, but you got to go through and determine why it's not running, right? Is it a fuel problem? Is it spark? You know, you just go through the same steps. But well, let's take a look at what I got. Well, there she is. That's a beauty, huh? Just a little dirty. I think I'll have to go wash this off and get all the dust and dirt off of it. Pretty cool old mowers, though. I've hung on to this one for quite a long time. I have another one that I use for spare parts. It's in pretty bad shape, but if this one breaks down, at least you know, I have a source where I can get some parts for it. Plus, I have another one. It's a Gold, a 6.0, I think, 6 horsepower. I'll have to break that out one of these days. I don't think I've ever started that one. I stuck it back there and have not touched it. And like I said, I had put I put fresh gas in it, and it is mixed, and I couldn't start it. And well, I'm going to try it again, and then I think I'll break down and see if we can determine. I'm sure it's a fuel problem, but we'll go through and check it out. All right, well, she cleaned up pretty nicely, huh? I guess if I ever wanted to fully restore it, just needs a few touch-ups. They're on the deck, and then the handles there I'll probably go ahead and repaint anyway, just to stop any rust. You can see some surface rust starting to come out. Not bad, but alright, well, let's get this sucker running. Well, let me show you what it's doing. So this one does not have a pump or anything like that. You know, you don't have to, doesn't have a primer bulb on it. The choke and all that good stuff is up here. Yeah, so it's not even trying. So we need to determine if it's a fuel problem. Carburetor's right up here. And we'll check the spark plug. But first, it's the fuel, because it has been sitting for a long time, you know. That's my guess, but let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is pop this cover off. Yep, there's a filter on it. I guess the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get some 2-stroke oil and shoot it directly into the carburetor and see what happens. So this is for your entertainment, because I thought the camera was running, but it was not when I put the gas in the mower. The mower did start, but there's no footage for it, so we will continue from that point on. Yeah, it has that unique sound to it, doesn't it? You just can't mistake that that lawnboy 2-stroke mower sound. But anyway, I think that's pretty cool. But let's get this thing prepped and yank the carburetor out and clean it off. Alright, so looks easy enough to come off, huh? It's been so long since I've worked on this thing that I don't remember the specifics, but it's not going to be that bad. Oh man, the joker's on there. There we go. Whew. So I was looking at this. You can see where I have the throttle disconnected here, but it's basically shoving this bar back and forth, right? Now you see it engaging up here, and that is where the choke is. So it pulls back, the choke's on, pulls forward, and now this part back here, you can see where my finger is, that should be engaging this spring. And that is what should be rotating your throttle back and forth right here. But it's not doing like it should. It is not engaging, it's not pulling on the spring. It looks like, yeah, see the spring's just kind of hanging here. So I don't know what happened. Did it come uncoiled? So I'm going to have to take this off and take a look at that. Alright, so I know there was a... We'll take this top off here. We'll take this top off here. And then there's a few screws holding basically the gas tank and the shroud. You know, we can take it off. The valve off. There we go. Yeah, there's that spring. See, it's just kind of... Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah. It came uncoiled or something happened, because that's supposed to be pulling the throttle. There we go. Let's see, so that way the choke is on. You can see the choke's on and off there. It should be all the way over like that. And then as you turn the choke off, it's on high speed, and then as you travel this way for a lower speed, this should be closing, right? But it's not engaging. The spring is kind of came uncoiled or something happened. So let's take a look at that. In the meantime, let's take this off. Alright, well, sorry for all the shadows. It is late in the evening. 4:35, somewhere in there. Not too bad. Let's see what this bowl looks like. Yikes. Look at the crap that's coming out of there. See how orange that is? Wow. I wasn't expecting that. And this won't come off. I hope I don't ruin this gasket. Man, it is just stuck on there. One little section that doesn't want to come off. Yikes, look at that. I'm going to let this start to soak. Still spraying stuff out of there, so that's good. Some of that looked pretty bad, but it's actually coming off pretty easy. So I was going to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, but I think this will do it once I get everything cleaned out. My garage is kind of full right now. Alright, I think the last thing that's left is just down here at the bottom of this bowl. Yeah, see, it's coming right off. The rest of it dissolved pretty quickly. So that's lucky. That's lucky. There we go. I think the tip of this is the only thing that was really gunked up. Alright, so before we put it all together, let's figure this spring out. I don't know what happened here. I might have to go get my glasses. So it's the tension on the spring is not enough. It might not take much, but how do I... That was too much. There we go. Nope. There we go. So now it's open the way it should be. See, it's open. And the choke is closed there. So we disengage the choke, and you can see the throttle opening up and closing. So I think that's got it. That was kind of weird. Now it's got to make sure that this spring does not come off of here again. Well, let's finish putting this thing together, and we'll see how long this will last. I'll have to look it up. I guess I can look on that older model and see what that carburetor looks like, because it's everything else on here is okay except for this one little spring. It's just bent up, and I'm going to hold this whole assembly together while I do this. Pain in the butt, but I don't want that spring to pop off again in the sun. Yeah, that might work. Looks like it's doing what it's supposed to. Well, there she blows. Let's see if it'll work. Let's see, I forgot to open the gas. Let's let it sit here for a second and let the bowl fill. Yeah, I hope that little spring works. That was kind of a pain in the butt. What a sound, huh? All right, well, to get it running, it was just a simple carb clean, right? But I hope you got a close-up. I'll look over the video too and see if I can make sure you see it. But it was just that one little spring that attached to the throttle cable on the linkage there. And that's what was giving, like right now, it's not letting it, there's not enough throttle before it starts to kick in the choke. So it's running about a half to maybe 2/3 RPM, it sounds like. It needs to go up a little higher. So one thing I didn't show, after I got everything put together and the spring is on there and I got it all bent in shape, and I'd forgotten to show you how to adjust that spring so that you'll get the correct throttle level from slow to fast, and then hit the choke, of course. So let me see if I can dig down in here and show that to you. Okay, so at the bottom you see the carburetor, the bowl, and you work your way up the carburetor body, and then you'll see where the little black knobby piece is underneath that white flap. So that white flap, just like any other, the auto choke and all that good stuff on the Briggs & Strattons, has that same kind of flap. So the flywheel, when it hits it, it causes it to move clockwise, and that'll slow it down a little bit, right? So when you're adjusting that, underneath there, that little black looks almost like it's a serrated, you know, like a thumb screw type of deal. Well, you can adjust that clockwise or counterclockwise, whichever way it needs. And so before, it was not getting enough throttle, and by turning that black knob clockwise, then it gave it enough push to so that I get proper fast RPMs before the mulch hits, right? When before I had it down up, you know, up to the fast point, and it was just still going pretty slow. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. I'm just happy to get this thing running again, and I know I can still use it. I'll probably start using it a lot more, just to make sure it's running properly. But anyway, like I said, sorry for rambling on so much here at the end, but as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and watch for my next video.